Hi, I'm Susanne Madsen, the author of The Power of Project Leadership. In this video, I'll talk you through 6 essential things that you should do when you kick off a project. On the board, I have a mix of more task-oriented items and people-oriented items. It's very important that you focus on both, that you manage tasks and lead people. Now, the first item is related to the business case. It's not your role as a project manager to create the business case, and you're not accountable for it, but you must absolutely validate it and make sure that you understand it and that you buy into it. Part of your role is to motivate, engage and inspire the team. That becomes very difficult if you don't buy into the business case and if you don't understand why the project is important. So sit with the sponsor, the accountable person, and really query what the project is all about. Secondly, identify the sponsor and the steering committee members if they are not already there. The sponsor is the ultimate accountable person for the project. He or she is the one who owns a business case, and he or she will be the one who sets the parameters for the project. I like to refer to the sponsor as the champion of the project. You also need to identify the steering committee members. They are there to support the sponsor in making sound decisions throughout the project. And I would also set up regular steering committee meetings right from the beginning of your project. When I say regular, I mean probably monthly, but other frequencies might apply as well. Thirdly, analyze your stakeholders. Let's just remind ourselves that a stakeholder is anyone who can impact the project or who is impacted by the project. That's actually a pretty wide group of people. It involves your end users and your customers and your support people. And what's so important about this group is that they have requirements for your project. So if you miss out a stakeholder group, you could be missing out some vital requirements. And that could come back and bite you in your project later on. But your stakeholders are also important because if you have their buy-in and their support, you will be able to execute the project in a much smoother way. So after you've identified who they are, analyze them to find out if they're supportive, what they worry about, what their communication needs are, and what they expect from the project. With that knowledge, you'll be much better able to win their support and to give them what they need, of course. The fourth item is to agree ground rules with your team. The team is the cornerstone in executing a great project. And one of the major differences between an average performing team and a high performing team is that high performing teams have a common set of ground rules, a common way of operating. So you can fast track your team to success by sitting down and agreeing, how are we going to work together? What do we expect from each other? What are the behaviors that we would like to see from each other? Now, it's not up to you as a project manager to set those ground rules because your team members might not agree to them or buy into them. The best way is to give everybody a stack of post-it notes and write down anything that's important to them. How do they feel you should overcome conflict? How do they feel you should treat each other? How do they feel the meeting behavior should be? Then collate all the items and agree a common set of rules. The fifth item I have here is to gather requirements. Now, these requirements come from the stakeholders, as we've just established. Interview all the stakeholders to find out what they expect from the project. Have workshops where you illustrate what they're saying to you. Create mock-ups, create process diagrams, and even better, do proof of concepts and prototypes. Make the requirements tangible and play back to the stakeholders that this is what you hear that they're saying. That's the best way to validate that what you're about to build is really what the stakeholders require. And lastly, create a high-level plan when you kick off a project. early on in a project, you may not understand everything that needs to get done. So you may not be able to create a detailed plan, but you will need a high-level plan with, let's say, 10 to 12 milestones. It is not for you as a project manager to come up with this plan on your own, because if you do that, it doesn't engage the team. You may lose people there. So get the team together, brainstorm everything that needs to get done within the parameters that have been set for you, organize all these items, create dependency diagrams, and compile what you believe are the 10 to 12 major milestones. Assign responsible owners to each milestone and decide when they need to happen. You can also brainstorm the risks associated with these milestones. Thank you for watching and good luck.